Week 1, Sunbelt surprises. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, we will talk about the surprises, both positively and negatively, if you can say. Usually surprises are like, wow, they played really well. Sometimes you can be surprised about who plays poorly. I am interested in that ULM hosting UAB game. I think that game is under the radar this week because you have Marshall, Virginia Tech, App, and Clemson, and Texas State and UTSA. I'm interested in that ULM UAB game with Bryant Vincent going up against his former school and the players of the week. And I say this with all due respect. Ethan Vasco played great. One of the games that I did watch, others may have played better. All right, so who surprised in week 1? We can do it by a team for sure, because there were, players who surprised. Like App State didn't surprise, right? 38-10 over East Tennessee State. May have preferred them to cover, but they did not surprise, right? Easy win, probably vanilla. They know they're going up against Clemson. They're not going to show too much. Get in, get out, stay healthy. No surprise with App State. I think Coastal Carolina surprised. I think that was surprising. I think it was surprising how good Coastal Carolina was. I'm also a little bit surprised at how bad Jacksonville State was. Was part of Jacksonville State being bad, due to Coastal Carolina? You bet. But they didn't have a quarterback who could complete a pass. That doesn't have much to do with Coastal Carolina. A little bit, but they did not have a good quarterback play at all. So Coastal Carolina was a surprise. I think so. Yeah, I do. I happen to think so. James Madison, I think I was surprised by Alonzo Barnett. And from reports, JMU fans aren't all that high on him, and I'm trying to figure out why. But I was surprised that he got the start, and he was the only one. We had multiple schools that had more than one quarterback play. One had 3 quarterbacks play. And I was a little bit surprised about Alonzo Barnett, but I think, Alonzo Barnett the third. I was pleasantly surprised at how well he played. All right. Not so surprised that JMU beat Charlotte badly, but surprised that he played well. A little bit surprised at Marshall. Yeah, 2 quarterbacks. They're still having the quarterback competition while the regular season's going on. No preseason games, only, inter-squad scrimmages. And so that's a little bit surprising. And we'll see if Charles Huff makes a decision going forward. Stony Brook hasn't won a ball game in a minute. Got to tell you, I'm disappointed in Georgia Southern. That was a little bit surprising. Probably shouldn't have been. 45 points, and I don't think any turnovers. We can check that out, I guess. And they get beat by double digits. They came back. They were down. They came back. They took the lead and then just let it slip away. And we're out here touting. And again, Boise State is legit, But boy, I mean, you go from 37-36. You're up 37-36. And immediately, did this happen to them as well last year? Or was that App State? Who played out? Maybe it was ODU. No, App State had that. They scored, and the next play was a touchdown. Ashton Gentry, 75-yard touchdown run after you take a 1-point lead to begin the fourth quarter. And then, you went from up 37-36. You were down 28-9, up 37-36. And then you found yourself down 56-37 in like 6 minutes. That's the thing, right? They scored Bo Johnson scored on a 3-yard touchdown pass from J.C. French. 13:30 to go in the fourth. 37-36. Cyree Gaines, 17-yard touchdown pass from Madison with 5:42 to go. All right, so more like 8 minutes. In less than 8 minutes, you went from up 1 to down 19. Jeez. 20 points. That's surprising. To me, that's surprising. You're supposed to, have those 3 guys, and they're all up front. You got to be able to stop the run. That is a surprise, if you ask me. Not surprised with Georgia State. I kind of think that was expected going up against Georgia Tech. Played a good first half, ran out of gas. It is a P4, I guess, going up against a G5. I did say that ODU was going to cover. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think they were going to win. I'm not going to do that. That was a surprising ball game because the defense played pretty well, but the offense shot themselves in the foot time and time again. I don't even think that was a could have won the football game. They probably should have won the football game. So a little bit surprising that it was the offense hurting themselves rather than, say, South Carolina making the adjustments defensively and exploiting them offensively. Did not happen. So, but we did that on Monday. Hashtag always a bright side. Cut down on those mistakes. You have a pretty good defense. You have some offensive weapons. Let's see what happens moving forward. All right, still going on. Let's go out to the West. Surprised by Arkansas State. That line was very interesting because it was like a 9-10 point line. Like, why is that not more like 17-20? And Central Arkansas is better than I thought. And they were ready to go. Potentially should have won the football game. But what we wanted to see out of Jalen Rayner be more consistently good. But at the same time, when things aren't going great, pull it out at the end, and that's exactly what they did, regardless if they got some assistance from the officials. Cajuns, not surprising, outside that they didn't run it particularly well. Mike Desimo talked all offseason and in the spring about running the football, and then, Ben Wooldridge was 25 or 33 in the air for 300 yards. So just surprising at, I guess, the game plan. All right. Texas State, very surprising. Couldn't put them away. Had to hold Lamar off. Almost disappointing. Disappointing. ULM, 73 new players. Defense was outstanding. What did they give up? Let's see here. Didn't they give up nothing? Here we go. Here's the stats. That's last year's stats. Let's see if we get 24 stats. No, that's the wrong one. All right. We have too many of these. Here we go. Team defense, ULM. They gave up 59 yards on the ground. That's outstanding. I mean, I don't care who it's against. 59 yards on the ground is outstanding. They gave up 227 yards in the air. Let me see if we can quickly find, let me see the full download history. See if we can quickly find what they did last year defensively, because I bet you it wasn't very good. ULM was dead last in defense, giving up 445 yards a game. Not great. Let's see if it says the average total rush defense now. Oh, here we go. Rush defense. ULM gave up 171 yards a game last year. Passing wise, giving up 174 yards. So they're balanced defensively. So that was nice to see. All right. And we'll get more into that here a little bit. South Alabama, I got both surprises, to give up 52 points to North Texas, and Gio Lopez almost 500 yards. I mean, to me, that's explosive. That's surprising. That's impressive, right? That's a little bit surprising. Dynamic. Southern Miss, that's a tough spot. All kinds of rain and lightning, and you don't know if you're going to play and got to play. And Tay Rodemaker's got to be better. I mean, he's got to be better. And Troy surprised for the negative. Yeah, we all talked. Me talked about all the offensive guys that left due to graduation or, unfortunately, can't say injury, but illness. And we forgot about the defense. And the defense wasn't very good. All right. Or I'll rephrase that. Not as good as it had been. All right. All right. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, I'm interested in this ULM UAB game. Again, it's going to get overshadowed by all the other stuff that's going on in the Sun Belt. But I am intrigued if ULM can keep up with UAB. All right. We will do that after I tell you about FanDuel. You've heard us talk about it a lot. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com, download America's #1 sportsbook. Keeping an eye on that Clemson App State ball game in the money line. It's going to be all over that. That's where I'm going on Saturday. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We have some big-time games this week in the Sunbelt. We just do. The Cajuns are not one of them. You have this Saturday, you have Troy at Memphis, UTSA at Texas State, Marshall at Virginia Tech, East Carolina at Old Dominion, Arkansas State taking on Tulsa, Georgia Southern going to Nevada, and App State is at Clemson. All right. Other games like the Cajuns and Kennesaw State, not so much. Coastal hosting William & Mary, and Southern Miss better beat Southeastern Louisiana. But the one that I'm sort of intrigued about, and also probably South Alabama and Ohio, only because I heard the Ohio game, which was the Syracuse game. I was listening to that one because Ohio covered. Not happy. Anyway, I'm really intrigued about this ULM game hosting UAB. Again, I got to believe, these things are done way in advance usually. And it just turns out that UAB is coming to ULM with Bryant Vincent as the head coach. I think that's awesome. Don't think he coached with Trent Dilfer, right? I think Dilfer's heading into his 3rd season. And UAB had I probably should come off the idea of methodical. I did that with the Cajuns. They came off with an efficient 41-3 win over Alcorn State. All right. And let's check out some of those numbers if I can. They ran it. I mean, they ran a bunch of yards. Jeez. So they ran it for 302 yards. They passed it for 215 yards because that's what they could do. You got a couple of different guys. Lee Beebe Jr., 15 carries, 85 yards. Isaiah Jacobs, 12 carries, 58 yards. And they spread it out after that. Jacob Zeno, 23 of 32 with an interception, 215 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. They threw it around the yard as well. Cam Shanks, which is a great name, he had 6 catches. He led the way. Nobody else had more than 3. Although he didn't catch a touchdown, Amari Thomas caught one of the touchdowns, and Brandon Hawkins Jr. Had, talk about efficient, 1 target, 1 catch, 9 yards, and 1 touchdown. So, again, an explosive ball game by UAB, led 28-3 at half. They tacked on a field goal in the 3rd. They did not play the backup quarterback, although they could have just been handing the ball off because they did go on the ground 302 yards to 215 in the air. But, and that's where it'll be interesting to me, is it a different game plan by UAB going up against ULM? And can ULM hold UAB on the ground? Again, I didn't watch the UAB ball game. So are they going vanilla like Marshall did, like App State did? Trent Dilfer already complaining about the communication system in the helmets. I don't know what he's talking about. I am interested to see, because this is the kind of game, and again, there is not a whole lot of victories for ULM on that schedule, although I'm picking them to beat somebody that they're not expected to. This could be, for all I know, it may be UAB. Do we have a quick, let me see if I can get on, see where we are here line-wise with this ball game, because, again, I just find it fascinating, because this is the kind of game that could give them some momentum, although I did think they started out 2-0 last year. Let's see the line. Let's see if it's double digits. UAB is minus 13 on the road. All right. Not an easy place to play. We've said that for, numerous reasons. If you saw pictures, when the game started, it wasn't a very big crowd. So the road team's got to bring their own energy. You can't feed off the crowd. It's tough to, silence everybody when it almost is silent. And we'll see if the ULM faithful, although there's not many, come on out and cheer on ULM, to see if they can beat, or even keep pace with UAB, because, it gets worse from here. At Texas, we'll see what Troy's like. We don't know what Troy is right now. All right. We just don't know. Then they get James Madison and Southern Miss at home. All right. Then you're at South Alabama. We're not sure what they are. Marshall's pretty good. They get Texas State at home. They're at Auburn. They're at Arkansas State, and they get the Cajuns. The last 5 ball games are brutal. At Marshall, Texas State at home, at Auburn, at Arkansas State. They host the Cajuns. Maybe, that Southern Miss ball game is a potential victory. Tough to predict a win on the road in the Sun Belt. So I'm looking forward to this. I want to see, we said that Bryant Vincent's team is going to bring the physicality, going to bring the toughness. You give up less than 60 yards on the ground. To me, that's impressive. That's impressive. And so we'll certainly dive into the rest of the ball games, but I wanted to pinpoint that one because I think it could get overlooked. Tough to preview, the 3, games that should be blowouts: Cajuns, Kennesaw State. I say Coastal Carolina's playing William and Mary, and Southern Miss against Southeastern. All these other ball games are big time, either against Power 4 schools or legit, G5 schools. So I did want to point that one out. I think I'd like to think ULM could keep it close. We'll see. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll talk about the players of the week. Again, I don't want to take anything away from Ethan Vasco, but did others have a better week? Talk about that when we come back, right after I tell you about LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. And we may, here we go. I set it up right. All right, so the players of the week, and these guys had good weeks. All right. Ethan Vasco leads Coastal Carolina to a big win. Wydett Williams Jr., a defensive back for ULM, had a big week. And Clune Van Andel, sophomore kicker from Arkansas State, your offensive, defensive, and special teams. Let's read what Ethan Vasco did. And again, I'm not taking anything away from this because he played and Coastal played well. Okay. Chanticleers redshirt sophomore Ethan Vasco, who started for the final 5 games for the 2023 campaign, accounted for 3 touchdowns to lead Coastal Carolina to a 55-27 road victory over Jacksonville State in his 2024 season opener. The Chesapeake, Virginia native completed 12 of 19 passes for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air and rushed for 39 yards and a score. Vasco propelled the Chanticleers to a program record 55 points in a season opener, connecting with 7 different receivers in the process. Okay. That's a nice game. 12 and 19, 249, 2 touchdowns in the air, and 1 on the ground. Did he really have the best game? Did he really have the best game in the Sun Belt? Again, Gio Lopez had 500 yards, like 490 yards by himself. And again, this is not to take anything. It really is. I don't want to take away anything from Ethan Vasco, but that was, let's be honest, that was much more of an efficient ball game compared to what the others did. And let's get through it here. We'll go through this because we got the initial, it's all the team stuff first before I can get down to the individuals. But again, I guess you have to win. So that would eliminate Gio Lopez, but some of that's not Gio Lopez's fault, right? When the punter punts it into his up back, that's not on the quarterback. Let me see if we get our. Okay, here you go. Ishmael Mahdi, 28 carries, 156 yards, and a touchdown. All right. That's kind of Mahdi-esque. Probably could be better. Let's look at the total offense. Gio Lopez, 494 yards. Jalen Rayner, 366 yards. J.C. French, 361. Joey Aguilar, 345. Ben Woldridge, 314. Alonzo Barnett, the third, 308. Vasco is 7th with 288. Vasco was 7th. That's kind of tough. Right? Jalen White for Georgia Southern had 3 touchdowns on his own. All right. Jalen White had 3 rushing touchdowns. Joey Aguilar had 3 rushing touchdowns. Joey Hobart from Texas State had 2. Jamaal Pritchett, big ball game for USA. If you're putting up 300 or 400 yards in passing, someone's got to catch it. Jamaal Pritchett had 10 catches for 197 yards and a touchdown. Again, well, now maybe I am taking something away from him, and I don't really mean to. All right. So Ethan Vasco was 12 and 19 for 247, right? In the air, Jamaal Pritchett had 10 catches for 197 yards. He almost matched Vasco's numbers as a receiver. Corey Rucker catches the game-winning score. 9 catches, 179 yards, and a touchdown. Isaiah Page, 8 catches, 115, and a touchdown. From ODU. Of course, they didn't win. So, of course, they want a guy. You got to get somebody who won, I guess. Passing efficiency, I guess he had top passing efficiency. Although I'm trying to figure that one out. How is 12 out of 19 and 1 interception better than 25 or 33? And Ben Woldridge had 3 touchdowns, and Ethan Vasco had 2. I know Woldridge had 1 more incompletion, but he threw like 50% more passes. All right, so my head hurts trying to figure out this math. Yeah, so again, I don't want to berate Ethan Vasco. He didn't give it to himself, right? But other guys had better weeks than our guy, Ethan Vasco, win or lose. they had better weeks. All right. Elsewhere, Wydett Williams, ULM, junior defensive back, tallied a game-high 10 tackles to lift ULM to that 30-14 victory over Jackson State. That's impressive to have 10 tackles as a defensive back. Usually when a defensive back or safety is leading the team in tackles, that's a bad thing. In this situation, in this instance, Williams was outstanding. And again, they allowed less than 60 yards on the ground. That's outstanding. And Clune Van Andel out of Arkansas State from Grand Rapids, Michigan. After being used as a kickoff specialist as a freshman last season, Red Wolf sophomore kicker Clune Van Andel converted on the first 6 kicking attempts of his collegiate career to register 10 points in Arkansas State's 34-31 season opening win against Central Arkansas. Converted on a pair of first quarter field goal attempts from 44 and 23 yards, was perfect on 4 of 4 extra point tries on his day. His 10 points scored trailed only the 12-point total from redshirt senior running back Zach Wallace for the Red Wolves. So again, all these guys had good weeks. I think others had better weeks. Again, Ethan played fine. He was good. He didn't put up almost 500 yards. All right. Pritchett had almost 200 yards catching the football and 2 less catches than Vasco had completions. No, I'm just saying. So I don't necessarily have to get it to the guys who team had an impressive win. Coastal looked good. Vasco looked good, right? They got a scoop and score touchdown, and that was good because David had money on the Chanticleers. We got to go over those numbers and see what I do because we'll preview the games tomorrow. So we have to figure that out. So we'll have to see what our record was. I tried putting in all my wagers early, and it's a good thing I didn't have the money in the account because I would have lost. I'm not sure I would have won too many ball games. I think I had Notre Dame. I lost out on Notre Dame, but I would have won. I would have lost others. That's for sure. All right. Hey, we're up to 1,420. That's like almost 22 subscriptions in less than a week. You guys are awesome. We're going to get to 1,500 really quickly. Shocker that so many people are joining us during football season. I know. What a surprising development. Thanks so much. We'll have a great show tomorrow. We'll preview week 2. I'm calling the upset. App State's going into Clemson and beating the Tigers. App State's going to get about 30 seconds of pub, and it's all going to be on Dabo Sweeney for not taking in transfers. That's what's going to happen. All right. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a great Thursday. We'll talk to you again on Friday. You've been watching and listening to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.